it will cover. It's not gonna. I don't know. It looks weird. Yeah. Sure. I know.
Yes. All right, so I think I was muted for a minute, so I'll go over this once again. So all I was saying is mathematical ratios is comparing two different quantities and how they relate to each other. And the best way to write ratios in is simplifying them to their lowest terms. For example, you have 16 ratio 18, simplify this to 8 ratio 9. And I gave an example of a leather producing company, which their production rates of leather belts and leather shoes is 1 ratio 3. All right. So if they are to produce 24,000 belts, then it means they are going to produce 72,000 shoes in that particular month. All right. So we'll be taking working examples from Unilag Foundation past question. Page 3, question 4, Unilag Foundation past question. So the question says 3 boys share 214 naira in the ratio 2 ratio K ratio 5. 2 ratio K ratio 5. So when you see this expression here, it means ratio in mathematics. So 3 boys share 214 naira, 2 ratio K ratio 5. If the boy whose share is represented by K receives 72 naira, the boy which is ratio represented by K receives 72 naira, then what is the value of K? So to find the value of K. So what this question is asking here is the relationship between the values the 3 boys collected, each of these 214 naira. So this is the amount they are to share, and this is the ratio they are sharing it. So I have to calculate the value of K. Now to do that in ratio, what we do to get each individual values is we add up each of the unit ratios, divide it by the total number of ratio, and then multiply it by the amount shared, or multiply it by the units shared. All right, what do I mean? I need to add up the total amount of units, divide by the number of units I'm looking for, or the unit ratio I'm looking for, then multiply by the unit shared. What do I mean? 2 plus K plus 5. This is the total number of ratio. Now, what is the ratio I'm looking for? I'm looking for the value of K. So K is K over 2 is 7 plus K multiplied by 240 is equal to 72. Now, I'm going to go over this once again. When we are calculating ratios, let's say, for example, I'm to share 50 naira, right? I want to share 15 naira in ratio 2 ratio 5 between two students or between two children. I want to share these amounts between two children. So the first thing is for me to calculate the amount this child is going to get of this 50,000 naira. I'm going to say 2 divided by the total number of ratios, that's 2 plus 3, which is 5, multiplied by 50. I'm to calculate the amount that this child, I'm going to call this child A and child B. The amount that child A has from this 15 naira, or the share of child A from this 15 naira, will be calculated by the ratio of child A to child B divided by the total sum of their ratios multiplied by the amount shared. 2 divided by 5 and 50. So here I'll get 20. That's 5 here, 10, 10 times 2, 20. So now it means when I divide 15 naira in a ratio of 2 ratio 3, child A with a ratio of 2 is going to get 20 naira from that amount. So the same thing I'm going to apply in this question. I'm applying the same concept in this question. So because in this question, it has been noted that the value that K received from this amount is 72 naira. That is known. Then the total sum of ratio is 2 plus k plus 5, which becomes 7 plus k. I'm going to divide it by the amount of ratio I'm looking for, that's k. So here I can now evaluate. I'll say 240k, that's this multiplied by this, divided by 7 plus k is equal to 72. So here I can multiply both sides by 7 plus k, or in simple ways, I can just cross multiply, all right? So I'll have 240k is equal to 72 multiplied by 7 plus k. So from here, I can open the brackets. So I'll continue from here. 240k is equal to 72 times 7. That's 504 plus 72k. So 72 multiplied by k is 72k. So yeah, I'm just going to collect the like terms. 240k minus 72k is equal to 504. So 240 minus 72, that's 168. So here, all I just need to do is just to do my base arithmetic. So 504 divided by 168, and I have k is equal to 3. So for me to get the value of k, I'm going to divide through by 168, and I have k is equal to 3. So which means the ratio at which the students or the boys shared this 214 naira. I don't know. I don't think this is in Tinubu's economy, because this money is not enough for one person. So it is going to be in the ratio 2, ratio 3, ratio k. So the value of k is 3. So which means the boy with the ratio of 3 got an amount of 72 naira. Now, just for sake of explanation, I would want to calculate the amount that the boy with ratio of 5 is going to get. And then after you calculate all the amount they get, it should equal to the total amount shared. So let's see if we'll get that. Firstly, I would like to repeat this. Since we've calculated k as 3, okay, before we go ahead, we are done with our calculation. So I just want to explain and expatiate more on ratios, so that when we come up with questions like this, we know how to treat them. So the answer to this is k equals 3, which is option D. All right, option D. So let's just continue from there. So I've written this out: 2 ratio 3 ratio 5. And then the amount shared is 240. All right, so I want to calculate the amount that the boy with a ratio of 2 got. So this is going to be 2 divided by 2 plus 3, 5, plus 5, 10, multiplied by 240. So here I'm going to have 24 times 4, which is 48 naira. So the guy with ratio 2 has a share of 48 naira from the total 240. Now let me calculate the share of the guy with a ratio of 5. 5 divided by 10 multiplied by 240. So it's basically straightforward. The ratio divided by the sum of the ratios multiplied by the amount shared. So here I'm going to have 24 times 5, which is, like, this is going to cancel out this. So I'll be left with 5 times 24, which is 120 naira. So now if we sum all of this together, are we going to get 240? If we get 240, it means we are correct. Obviously, you have to get the amount shared, because this is the amount we are sharing in the ratio. So if we do 120 plus 48 plus 72, are we going to get 120? Are we going to get 240? Yes. 72 plus 48, that's 120. 120 plus 120, 240. And that's how ratio works. All right, so let's take another example. Still from foundation past question, page 6, question 9. Page 6, question 9. So the question says, if 3 friends share Y apples in the ratio 3, ratio 5, ratio 8, and the smallest share was 45 apples, find the value of Y. 3 friends, 3 friends share Y apples, they share Y number of apples in the ratio 3, ratio 5, ratio 8. If the age of one and the smallest share was 45 apples, find the value of Y. The smallest share is 45 apples, find the number of Y. So the smallest share is the value with the smallest ratio. So this ratio, the one with the ratio 3, the friend with the ratio 3 add 45 apples. So now we have to calculate the value of Y, and Y is the amount of apples shared. To calculate the value of Y, so now we have Y as the total number of units shared, total number of apples shared. And then the total ratio is 3 plus 5, 8 plus 8, 16. So now for me to calculate Y, I know that the ratio of 3 is 45. How do I go about it? I'm going to say 3 divided by 16, which is obviously the ratio, the units ratio divided by total number of ratio multiplied by the amount shared. Amount shared is Y. This is the apple shared, is equal to the amount received per unit. That is 45, because the amount received by the friend with a ratio of 3 is 45. So yeah, I'm just going to do my base arithmetics. 3 times this, 3Y divided by 16 equals 45. And yeah, I can see 3Y is equal to 45 multiplied by 16. And yeah, I can divide through by Y, divide through by 3 to get the value of Y. So I'll say Y is equal to 45 times 16 divided by 3. So here I'll have Y equals to 15 times 16, because this can divide this, I'll have 15, you can multiply 15 by 16 to get your answer. So Y equals to 2,400, I guess. Yes. So, okay, not naira now, 2,400 apples. So the total number of apples shared by the friends is 2,400. So basically, that's much it on ratios. And then when you see a question like this in your foundation exams, it should take you about 30 seconds. This is one of the simplest topics you meet in Unilag Foundation. So you should find it, you should try as much as possible to take a very short time on these questions. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a class exercise now that you work with. Question page 7, question 17. Page 7, question 17. The question says the ages of 3 men are in the ratio 3, ratio 5, ratio 4, ratio 5. Years. Find the sum of the ages of the 3 men. So still same concepts, just with the word problem twist. So if you can fix the word problem twist, then you should have the answer. You still need to use the same concepts, and then you can solve for it. You guys have 1 minute to do that. 1 minute, and then when you have your answer, you can unmute yourself. Let's have them. All right. Nice. Right, I see some of your answers on the chat section. Okay, let's do this together. Well, let me still give you guys. I believe most of you have done it, so let me just call names. So if I call your name, you can unmute yourself and tell me the answer you got, or whatever the situation is, what issue you have, or where you are currently with your solving. All right, so there's no right or wrong answers. There's right or wrong answers, but like there's always room for correction. All right, so Temi, can you unmute yourself? Temi, can you unmute yourself and tell us
The answer is 108 years.
108 years? All right. So Oluwanifesi already said 108. So we have two 108. So we are going to. So can you give us a brief explanation of how you got 108? Just quick. Your solving process. Hello, Temi.
First,
Are you still with us?
yes,
Okay.
I found the difference between the oldest and the youngest years, which was two parts. Then I divided the 18 years into two, which was 9. I then added the ratios 3 plus 4 plus 5, which gave 12. Then multiplied 12 times 9, which gave me 108.
Okay. Okay. Very good. So let's see what we have. All right. So I believe most of you have the answers, but in any case, let's just work on it together. All right. So can someone help me with the question? Someone should read out the question. I believe the question is on your screen. Someone should help me with reading out the question.
The ages of three men are in the ratio 3, ratio 4, ratio 5. If the difference between the ages of the oldest and the youngest is 18, find the sum of the ages.
Find the sum.
The sum of the ages of the three men.
Okay, so I'm to find the sum of the ages of three men. All right. So this is the ratio between the ages of three men, 3 ratio 4 ratio 5, and then the difference between the oldest and the youngest is 18 years. So this is the oldest, rather, this is the oldest, this is the youngest. So the difference between this age is 18 years. So the question asks us to find the sum of the ages between uh the sum of the ages of the three men. So firstly, I want to calculate the age of the youngest. The age of the youngest will be 3 divided by 3 plus 4, 7 plus 5. One thing you should understand is there is no one way to mathematics. You can go through any method as far as you get your answer. So as far as you interpret the question correctly and use a correct mathematical method to solve, you will get your correct answer. All right. So this is 3 plus 4, 7 plus 5, 12, multiplied by, I'll say the sum of the ages of the three men is D. The sum of the ages of the three men is D, is equal to, I'll take this as the age of the youngest one as Y. All right. So now, so the age of the oldest, I'll say 5 divided by 12 multiplied by D is equal to O. So I have these two. So I'll say 3D divided by 12 is equal to Y. And here I'll say 5D divided by 12 is equal to O. This is O not, okay, let me use another. So I'll use X instead, so I don't think it is 0. I'll use X. All right, so this is the age of the youngest, this is the age of the oldest. So here I can say 3D is equal to 12Y. And then here I can say 5D is equal to 12X. So here I can decide to make D the subject of formula here. All right. So I'll say D is equal to 4y. So now I have calculated d to be equal to 4y. And now the question says the difference between x and y is 18 years. So I have x minus y is equal to 18. X minus y is equal to, okay, this is the oldest, yes. Minus y is equal to 18. So here I can say x is equal to 18 plus y. So now I have the value of x to be 18 plus y, and I have the value of b to be 4y. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to impute this formula into this particular formula. I'm going to impute these two values. I have 5d is equal to 12x. So I'm going to impute, or I'm going to substitute the value of x and the value of d into this equation. All right. So now d is 4y. So I'll say 5 multiplied by 4y is equal to 12 multiplied by 18 plus y. Because x is 18 plus y, I'm simply substituting the values. So yeah, I'll have 20y is equal to 12 times 18. That's 216 plus 12y. So yeah, I can collect like terms and say 20y minus 12y is equal to 216. And here I say 8y is equal to 216. So if I divide 216 by 8, I'll have the value of y as 27. So y is equal to 27. So now that I've gotten the value of y, I can calculate the value of d. And don't forget, d is the sum of the ages of the three men. Y is equal to 27. That is the age of the youngest student, the age of the youngest man in the group. So I calculated y as 27. Now what I have to do is to calculate d. D is the sum of ages of the three men. So what is D? D is equal to 4y. So I'm going to say 27 times 4. If you multiply 27 by 4, you have 108. So the sum of the ages of the three men is 108 years. So whatever method you use, you get 108 years, then you're correct. All right, so the class will be ending in the next 3 minutes. If you have any question, you're free to ask them now. Unmute yourself and ask them. And before that, let me just, while I'm waiting for questions, let me just run through
Excuse me, sir.
The workings or the particular thought process I used when solving for this. So the first thing is I tried to use this with a simultaneous equation. I tried to solve this using a simultaneous equation. Firstly, I have the equation given to me by the question, which is x minus y equals 18. X is the value of the youngest, is the value of the oldest man, while y is the age of the youngest man. So the question says 18 years is the difference between their ages. So I have 18 years as the difference. So I have x minus y equals 18. That's the first equation. So now from here, I have to derive another new equation. So after deriving the first equation given to me, the question x minus y equals 18, now I can derive a new equation, all right, from the question using the normal way of calculating the unit share in the ratio. So unit share is the unit ratio divided by total number of ratio multiplied by the total number of values shared is equal to the unit share. So I'm taking the unit share of the youngest man as y and the unit share of the oldest man or the age of the oldest man as x. So from here, I can evaluate to get another two different equations, which is 3d equals 12y and then 5d is equal to 12x. So from here, from this 3d equals to 12y, all right, from this 3d equals 12y, I made d the subject of formula. So I divided through by 3 to get d equals to 4y. So after getting d equals to 4y, I also made x the subject of formula in this equation. X is equal to 18 plus y. Then I have an equation here, which is the third equation with d and x. So I simply substitute the value of d as 4y and the value of x as 18 plus y. So doing the arithmetic, I open the bracket, normal mathematics process, and then I got 20y is equal to this. Then at the end of the day, I evaluated this to become 8y equals to 216, and then I divide through by 8 to get 27. But then we are not done. We have to calculate the sum of the ages of the three men. And the sum of the ages of the three men, according to how we were solving, is D. So if D is the sum of the ages of the three men, I have to solve for D. So, and D equals to 4y. From this equation here, D is equal to 4y. So for me to get the value of my D, I'm going to multiply y by 4. So 27 by multiplied by 4 is 108. So I have 188. All right. So if you have any question, you can ask.
Sir, you said to get that
Okay.
27 times 4. I don't understand that place clearly.
All right. So you understand to this point where I said y is equal to 27, yes?
Yes, I understand.
All right. So you agree with me that the D we are using here is the sum of the ages of the men, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So if this is the sum of the ages of the men, and this is what we are asked to find in the question, all right, and we've solved for y, then we have to look for D, because this is not our final stop. Yes. So now to solve for D, there was a part when we were solving where we got D equals to 4y. From breaking down this 3D equals to 12y, D equals to 3D equals to 12y, then we divide through by 3 to get D equals to 4y. So now, since we have the value of y and we need to get D, what are we going to do? We're going to say D equals to 4y, and because y is 27, we'll say D is equal to 27 times 4, which is 108. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank
Did I
you,
answer
sir.
your question? All right.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Any more question? We call it a day.